Kadamba Swami Maharaja Vyasa Pooja Mahamotsav ki jai.
Where is the speaker? Where is it?
Srila Prabhupada gave us the greatest gift. And that greatest gift is exactly this vision of transcendence, that we are not this body. How many times did he say it? How many times did he emphasize it? And to a point where we thought, yes, yes, we know. But do we know? Obviously, there is a huge difference between having merged transcendental knowledge and being able to repeat transcendental knowledge and to live transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge is meant to be realized. Initially, we develop some faith because we are hearing from.
Hare Krishna, I'm sorry to pause this in the middle of the lecture, but we have a few devotees from Bhakti outside Fed space, and we are reading a little bit of that. So if you have Bhakti near the Fed space, if you can park on the main Fed space is a dog moving. Sorry. Thank you.
One who is clearly showing transcendental symptoms. This is simply how Srila Prabhupada preached on the strength of his faith. It was his faith in Krishna that impressed people. It was his faith in scripture that impressed people. And one thing that impressed people, at least we hear from testimonies, is that what impressed them about Prabhupada was that he didn't try to impress anybody. That's not so easy. That truly means we're not this body. You carry my desire in your heart. My desire is that you really connect with Srila Prabhupada. How nice here in Vrindavan. Prabhupada on his Vyasa. Don't you like his lions? I like his lions very much. They are they look like real lions. They have the brown color of real lions, and they are, the right size. Prabhupada's house, so many nice paintings, each telling us, so much about Prabhupada's meditation. Please connect to Srila Prabhupada. It's wonderful if we can recite the entire Bhagavad Gita by heart. If we can even realize one verse in our heart, that's more wonderful. We can compare the Bhagavad Gita for a moment to a cookbook. And it's certainly amazing if someone can recite an entire cookbook by heart. Imagine all the recipes and a pinch of salt and this and that. Imagine. I mean, we'd certainly give an applause if someone recites the cookbook, but if someone cooks one recipe really well, that wins naturally. So it is realization that is really what it's all about. That realization comes in that ashakta manaha, in that deep attachment to Krishna, and that our consciousness is attached to Krishna, attached to pleasing Krishna. How to deal and face the obstacles in devotional life. By devotional service, because bhakti comes from bhakti. It is bhaktimam abhijanati. It is through devotional service that we get bhakti. So all obstacles are overcome by devotional service. I pray to one day love Krishna. The word love Krishna cannot be used so cheaply. How can a pumpkin from Holland just love Krishna? It takes a great effort in devotional service. It takes an effort to somehow or other sacrifice and go step by step from the initial stages of having some faith to learning to associate with devotees. How many years have I made so many mistakes in associating with the devotees? How then could I properly chant Hare Krishna and properly engage in devotional service? What to speak of anartanaviti, of the heart becoming purified? What to speak of getting some determination in devotional service? What to speak of getting some taste? What to speak of getting some attachment to Krishna? What to speak of getting ecstasy? What to speak of love? What can I speak of love for Krishna? What I want from you is that you have a vision. Right? It is my duty to be a visionary. And what I would like is that you have a vision in life. That means that you look at your whole life and that you look, where am I going? That's what I would like. Where am I going with my life? Not just living and surviving from day to day, but I'd like to see that you just think about, where am I going with my life? And it better be to the spiritual world. And who are you taking with you? That's the question. Go to the spiritual world, and who are you taking with you? The team entirely of the gopis in Vrindavan is pleasing Krishna. And then one day, Akrura came. And there was this chariot in front of the house of Nanda Maharaj. And then Akrura came, and then Akrura passed on the news that Krishna was invited to come. And then Krishna so easily wanted to come, and Nanda agreed. And there Krishna and Balaram went off on the chariot. The gopis, they tried to stop the chariot. Now, the question may be raised, why? Why? The gopis were looking at Krishna, and it looked as if Krishna wanted to go. So, then, if they were completely surrendered to satisfying his desires, why didn't they walk in front of the chariots and throw flowers in front the whole way? Huh? Krishna wants to go, and they are stopping his chariot. Is this acting for the pleasure of Krishna? Or was there selfish desire? Were they really completely free from selfish desire when they tried to stop Krishna? He wanted to go, so help him to go. What's the problem? No. The gopis knew Krishna has gone mad. Krishna has lost it. Krishna doesn't understand what's in his own interest. If Krishna will leave Vrindavan, he cannot be happy. Therefore, we cannot let Krishna leave Vrindavan. So they did not think, if Krishna leaves Vrindavan, we will not be happy. No, they thought, if Krishna leaves Vrindavan, Krishna will not be happy. This is praying. There is no trace of any selfish desire. It is simply only one desire, to please Krishna. That is pure transcendence. Will I go to the spiritual world? Well, I have faith in that, not because of my qualification. I've said it many times, but because we are showered with so much. I have really nowhere to go. I can only come to you. Yeah. So I know I'm not deserving, but please accept me. I think Krishna will accept me. I'm not so worried about that. Now I tell you what I want. I am greedy. My nature is greedy, very greedy. So what I want is I want to be eternally I want to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eternal pastimes. I also want to join Krishna's eternal pastimes in Vrindavan. It's possible. It's possible that you can be in both. So I want to be in both. But that's not all I want. I want to be there for some time. I've spoken to all of you about the Premamritamba, about the ocean of transcendental love which exists between Krishna and all his associates. And oh, what can I say? I need that. I need to spend some time in that ecstatic ocean of transcendental love. Yes, that's where I have to be, undoubtedly, and just drink and in the nectar and be absorbed and dance with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and perform ecstatic kirtan and just, can you imagine? Yesterday we were in the Bhakti Center and the kirtans were really nice. Sri Prahlad was singing first and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Nice. And then I sang and did the only one slow tune I have that I did a few years ago when my blood pressure was very high. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and so on. So, and then the Chittagopi gang did their thing, So it was a great kirtan evening, really nice and sweet. Maybe some of you saw it on the net, and otherwise it must still be there somewhere, to find. And many of you are very powerful when it comes to the internet and finding things. It's amazing. More powerful than me. My internet shakti is not so developed. Maybe because I'm old. Anyway, so, but can you imagine the kirtans in the spiritual world? So I want to taste these kirtans. I want to be there. I want to sing there. You know what I mean? I have to sing. Here I have to sing with my material voice, but there I'll be singing with the perfect voice and can do anything. Here I play a musical instrument with my crooked fingers. There will be no limits, no limits. So, yes, I want to go there. And Vrindavan, sweet Vrindavan, I want to go there. Yes. But I don't want to that's not all I want. It's not that I only want to be in both of these worlds. No, I told you I'm greedy. I think Srila Prabhupada is so merciful that he cannot just stay in the spiritual world. Prabhupada is surely somewhere in another universe or somewhere right now, preaching Krishna consciousness. I want to go there as well. So I want everything. It's like Prabhupada is our first spiritual master. Our faith rests on Srila Prabhupada. So this is also important. If you haven't made a deep relationship with Srila Prabhupada, make that relationship now. In Vrindavan, we used to have a set of letters. We still do. And every day they put a new letter on Srila Prabhupada's desk in his house. And then it's still going on. And you can, whenever you're in the house, you always read the letter. It was interesting, yes. And by the way, on June 1st, Renuya brought to our attention, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter. And in that letter, Srila Prabhupada wrote to his disciples to pray for him, to pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, because our spiritual master has not yet finished his work. That's the letter of June 1st of 1967. And Srila Prabhupada writes about his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he writes that my spiritual master has now entered into his Nitya Lila, into his eternal pastimes as a manjari. Right? And then there's a second letter where Srila Prabhupada writes, even now that my spiritual master has entered into his eternal pastimes, he is still seeing everything that I do. Yes, so this is very beautiful, because it's not only that the spiritual master remains with us in Vani, in the form of his instructions. There is more than that. There's still an element of Vapu. There's still, from the spiritual world, so we understand from these letters, the spiritual master can just look at his disciples. Well, I'm sure it's going to be better than Zoom, right? So don't worry, you know, I'm still gonna look at you. I'll make arrangements for you. Behind the scenes, even if sometimes I may manifest in your life, in your dreams, through an agent or this or that, you know. I may come to you at the time of death. And somehow or other, we will our connection is eternal. I like the story of the Chaitanya Bhagavat, where Lord Nityananda is followed by some Gundas. And these Gundas, they are trying to rob Nityananda from all the jewels that he wears. But somehow or other it never works out, and in the end they go to so much trouble, these Gundas. The first night they fall asleep, later they try again, and you know, and there are guards suddenly out of nowhere, and the third time they try again, suddenly they all go blind, and they fall into ditches, break their bones, and it's very austere. Then the dacoit leader understands. He understands who Nityananda is, and he surrenders to Nityananda. And then he becomes a devotee. But as the people see him walk into the room, they see this big gunda, this big criminal, and it's just too much to see. So they're all scared. You know, he has a dark cloud hanging over his head. He comes in the room, everyone's scared, and he falls at the feet of Nityananda. And then Nityananda picks him up, gives him the mercy. And from that day on, that dacoit was a devotee. And he would go and he would preach and he would bring dacoits. The dacoit brought more dacoits to the Lord. In this way, it was so nice. And I beg you, literally beg you to change your character, to become kind. It's not easy at all. Kindness involves so many things. It involves fill up the water. Kindness means it's in our dealings, in the way we deal with people. It's also in the way we're ready to give ourselves for the benefit of others. It is also to what extent we are willing to sacrifice. All these things are also there. There was no Prabhupada Leela Amrita. So can you imagine how it was when the Prabhupada Leela Amrita came out? That was a revolution. I mean, that was a revolution. I mean, here's Sarjapur Maharaj. He gave us all of that. And then there was more. Then there were little books, and then there were more biographies, and more and more. I got them all. Sometimes book the advanced copies. Oh yes, you have to read them. Yes. Yes, you have to all read them. So, if there are any dacoits, amongst you, bring more decorates to this movement. If there are singers, bring more singers. If there are dancers, bring more dancers. If there are intellectuals, bring more intellectuals. If there are beauty queens, bring beauty queens. Whoever you are, whatever you are, connect with people of your ilk, right? That's maybe a difficult word for people from Czech, but people of your own nature, of your ilk. Did you know that one? Yeah, I thought so. I always try to adjust my English to, something that people whose first language is not English, that they can also understand, because I try to communicate. Yeah, I'll miss you all. Or what to do? It is what it is. That's nice. It is what it is. We have to take it. But it's the real connection after the departure of the spiritual master is that now the disciple has to really become what the spiritual master wanted the disciple to be. And that's where the relationship will be totally alive and magic, you see. That's where it will start happening. That's where we will experience his presence very, very much. Like Srila Prabhupada is saying, like at the concluding words of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's saying, not only is Krishna in the heart, but Krishna's associates are also there. And the spiritual master is also there. He is there, not just, in our heart as someone we love, as someone we're attached to, and there's a place for my spiritual master in my heart. Yes, that's there, and I'll never forget him because that place will always be there. No, more than that. He's the active person is there. He is there. He is active in our heart. He's present. So Prabhupada is speaking like that he's never separated from his spiritual master. It's actively there. Some people say, yes, please give me a personal instruction. I have been waiting for that personal instruction. My dear disciple, all my instructions are personal. And personally, this movement of Srila Prabhupada, it's my life and soul. So you don't need a big personal instruction, The instruction is carry this movement in your heart and realize the essence of it, and then give it to others. Initiation is about giving your life and being serious about Krishna consciousness. So do it. I've given you a vision of the movement in 3 layers, right? In my little book, Diving Deep. If you haven't read it, then for God's sake, read it, absorb it, understand it. If you've been too busy to read that, then read it now, right? And understand it. I've explained that this movement is a movement of in 3 layers. Now the first layer is the external layer of the organization and the gatherings and being together and the Sunday feasts and the festivals, and we are all there together. And sometimes it's really inspiring and sometimes it's not inspiring. Sometimes they treat us nice, sometimes they don't treat us nice, and say, I feel mistreated, it's too much. Then I've spoken about a deeper layer, the layer of chanting Hare Krishna, the layer of going deep into the Bhagavatam. This is the layer of Nistha. This is the layer of just deeply, deeply chanting.
Om Agyanatimarandasya Kanana Salakya Sakshurminitam Yena Tasmai Sigurave Namaha Bancha Kalpatrubhyacha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Once Maharaj Pariksit was roaming his kingdom and came across a terrible scene. A scene where a cow had been attacked by some low-class dark man dressed like a king, who had with a stick broken the legs of a bull. Maharaj Pariksit, being a valiant king, immediately took action and was ready to fight that man in the royal dress. None other than Kali personified. Kali, instead of fighting, immediately fell at the feet of the king like a subordinate, not ready to fight. Maharaj Pariksit took full action. Said Kali could not stay in the kingdom. Kali said, "What will I do? I took shelter. I am Praja. I exist. I've taken birth. I need to exist somewhere. Where can I exist?" Maharaj Pariksit said, "You can stay in 4 places. There where there's gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, and intoxication. There was no such place. Kali couldn't find such a place, so came back and said, where will I stay? Then Maharaj Pariksit said, okay, you can stay where gold is stored. From this 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada phrased the 4 regulative principles, which he formally introduced for his followers. As Srila Prabhupada was preaching to the modern world, he spelled it out, what to follow to become free from the influence of the age of Kali. Then Mahaprabhu gave the Yuga Dharma to chanting of the holy name. And not only that, Katanchana Smiteya Sninduskaram Sukaram Bhavit. He also added his mercy and made what is difficult easy. And so, the fundamental tenets of Krishna consciousness for the modern world took shape. 16 rounds minimum and 4 regulative principles. You all are the fortunate people, because you all came in touch with transcendental knowledge and with Vaishnavas. And as a result, you took up this process of sadhana bhakti, chanting Hare Krishna and following 4 regulated principles. Who in this world is prepared to live like that? But by Srila Prabhupada's and his followers' inspiration, we were ready. You were ready. You became the heroes. You are walking a heroic path, most glorious. Everything is blessed on the way. Nothing could be better. What a wonderful life have you been given. So I'm very glad that I could be instrumental to inspire you to remain on that path. And through my written, recorded words, recorded kirtan, and all else that remains behind, through the memories in your heart, I will continue to inspire you to stay on this path, through thick and thin. When all is blissful, when all is struggle, do not waver. It is, you got the greatest treasure. Never forget. Nowhere in this world is there such wealth. The wealthiest man in the world is a pauper. You have the real wealth. Treasure it, relish it, cherish it, hold it close. Hold it close. Don't become slack, neglectful. Hold it close. Chant every day. Hear every day. Carve these principles in stone. Let them be there every day. And your life will be wonderful. And at the end, go back to Godhead, and we can physically reunite and celebrate there like we've never celebrated before. So looking forward to the great, great festival that is to come, where all of us will together and celebrate to another dimension, where the bliss will rise to levels never seen, never heard of. That time is not far away. Life is short. Prabhupada said, just give this one life to me. Please do that. Just give it. And everything will become most amazing. I'm saying goodbye to you for just a short time. For when we will be, I'll stay with you in my words and memories. I'll be with you on the path and I'm waiting for you on the other end to meet you again in person. Soon, soon, miracles will happen. Soon, we will see love. We will see bliss. We will see fulfillment beyond our imagination, beyond our expectation. Remember Dhruva. When he met the Lord, all his previous expectations, he said, they're like broken pieces of glass. You gave me jewels. All we ever desired were broken pieces of glass. The Lord will give us jewels. Oh, stay on the path. Don't get lost. Come quickly. Let us join this festival of Krishna. It's a festival of unlimited, ever-growing love. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. His dedication to sadhana was extraordinary. In his last days, chanting 16 rounds was hard for him. When your body's falling apart, and you've had to give up eating, and you hardly get any sleep, and you're besieged by pain, and you're not taking any medications, how can you chant? But he would do it, even if it would take all day. said to him one day, Maharaj, if it's too hard to chant, that's all right. Each beat can count for a round. He said, Maharaj, please don't give that order. Please don't give that order. I have to chant.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. It's only this Kadamba Kaman Swami Maharaja is and once again, thank you all of you for taking your time out and listening to what we do.